Hey guys, welcome to Package Explorer, where I go over some cool R packages. In this video, we're going to look at patchwork, which is made by Thomas Lynn Peterson, to allow for a dynamic way of sorting and organizing multiple plots in a single image. So whether you need to stack, align, or fine-tune layouts, patchwork does it all with a simple, intuitive syntax. In this video, I'll show you how to install, use, and customize patchwork to make your life easier. So let's dive in with the installation. And I'm assuming you've watched the previous videos, which means you're familiar with the lock file. Let's open that real quick. Now we're here. So all we have to do is add this line of code, and I actually wrote it here. So if you don't have this, add it and save it. And then we simply start our environment. Now let's get into Codium and start using patchwork. So now that we're here, I'd like to show you some basic usages of patchwork and some more advanced usages of patchwork. So let's load that in and load ggplot2. So I've prepared 3 graphs for this video, and I'm going to show you how you can make a multi-plot graph. The most basic use case of patchwork is to just put them side by side. And the way VS Code shows the graphs is a bit ugly, so here's a trick that I'm going to use to make it not so ugly. Right, you just save it as a .png using ggsave. Now that's that's putting them side by side. If you want to stack them, you just use the divide symbol, and boom, they're stacked. You can also use both at once, so you can have graphs being put together side by side with one stacking, and you can have this. Now, if you want to make sure the graphs that are side by side are the same size, you should use the pipe, which orders them in an actual grid. This is more loose in terms of the space that each graph takes, so I would recommend using this for more complicated graphs, but using the plus sign, you can see that there's actually no difference. This next function will really allow for a lot of customization, and it's the plot layout function. What this does is basically any graph within each, in between these pipes, will be contained in its own space, and it will have a grid-like layout with 3 columns and 2 rows. So to show you what that looks like, and you see that graph 1 is shown fully here, but over here we have graph 3 and graph 2 side by side in the same sized container as graph 1, which allows, and this is pretty cool in my opinion, so I would use this a lot. Another function that you should probably know is the annotation function, where this is how you actually title your overall function right here. So you have titles for each individual plot, but then you can also add an overall title for the overall plot. Another layer of customization is being able to just add blank spaces. So let me show you what that means. So if you wanted this space to be empty, all you needed to type was plot spacer, and you have empty space. The last 2 features are the most interesting ones in my opinion, and the first one is wrap plots. And the cool thing about it is it's pretty much the same thing as plot layout, but all you need to input is the column length, and it'll automatically figure out the number of rows that you need. But to wrap this up, I saved the best for last. Patchwork has a function called insetElement that allows you to overlay a plot onto an existing one. So when you're using insetElement from patchwork, it has 4 main arguments: left, bottom, right, and top. Now let's see how that looks. So these arguments control the positioning and size of the second graph relative to the first one. Think of the first graph as a full canvas ranging from 0 to 1 in both width and height. The numbers you pass to left, bottom, right, and top define a bounding box for the second graph within the canvas. So with this line, what's happening is for left, it's saying the second graph, or the inset graph, starts 60% of the way from the left edge of the first graph. And for bottom, it's also saying it starts 60% of the way up from the bottom. And and for the right equals 1, it extends to the rightmost edge, so 100%. Same for the top. So in this case, it means that the inset graph takes up the top right 40% of the first graph. You're essentially telling it to be positioned in the upper right section of the main plot using these proportions. If you wanted it smaller, you could adjust left and bottom, so we'll do that real quick. Now it's a little smaller, but kind of sucks. But obviously you're not limited to placing it only on the top right corner, so I encourage you guys to play with these settings. The first time I used this package, it blew my mind because all of these functions are so easy to use while also being so powerful, which is why I had to share it with you guys. So if this video was useful, stick around for more awesome packages. I'll see you in the next one.